Welcome to Get Your Bell Rung Pro Wrestling Podcast, Wednesday Night Dynamite, January 28th, 2026 episode. Guys, we got a full house tonight. Of course, we'll be doing the recap, Wednesday Dynamite. But after the fact, we're going to be talking about Royal Rumble, because Royal Rumble happens on Saturday, which officially puts us on the road to WrestleMania. So much stuff coming up. Introduce a couple of guests that's on the show tonight. A long fan of professional wrestling, someone that has been a fan of professional wrestling all of her life. A lot of people recognize her. We'll talk about Granny Hulkster. How are you, Granny?
Good. Hi, guys. Hello, listeners. I'm glad to be on. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Looking forward to speaking to you. Also, can't have a podcast without our local veteran, WCW veteran and author of Looking Up at the Lights, Mr. Robbie Idol. What's going on, my friend?
I'm good. How you doing?
Good, good. Also, guys, treat tonight the man who started this with me originally, my original co-host, the wrestling enthusiast, Mark. What's going on, Mark?
Hello.
Good. Yeah, I feel the enthusiasm coming from you.
Can you hear?
Yep, we can hear you.
Can you hear Kevin? I can't hear anything.
Really? Yeah, we can hear you. Drop. See if your speaker may be off. Also, guys, we have the co-host of Wrestling Memories, the one and only true wrestling historian. I'm talking about the Grizzled Vet. What's going on, man?
Let's also add the top watched interview that KG has ever done on Get Your Bell Rung Pro Wrestling Podcast. No, okay.
That actually would belong to Hollywood.
Oh well, I'd rather look at Hollywood than me too. So
yeah, no, not Hollywood.
Oh,
Hollywood.
I'd rather look at Hollywood. I don't know who that is, but I'm gonna get you.
She originally was OVW. She's with Booker T right now. But she has over 4,000 hits for her interview.
I probably have like 5.
No, you have a few hundred. You have a few hundred. Mark, are you with us? No. What I'm going to do is what I usually have to do is remove him from the stage and then completely kick him from the studio. And then he will probably rejoin with us. Guys, before we get into Wednesday Night Dynamite, something newsworthy to talk about. Hold on a second. Mark, you with us now?
Yeah, I couldn't hear anything.
Yeah, not sure what's happening. So let's go over some quick news real quick. And I found this very interesting. AJ Styles, Royal Rumble, his career's on the line. Now, there's a lot of speculation of, is this really going to be his last match? His contract's up in February. Is he going to resign for just another year so he can have a year? Kind of like John Cena did, the whole retirement thing. I'm starting to say no. On January 28th, WWE superstar AJ Styles took a notable step regarding his professional legacy. Styles, whose real name is Alan Jones, officially filed paperwork to renew trademark associated with his long-standing wrestling persona. The filings cover 2 elements closely tied to his career: the phenomenal AJ Styles name and the P1 logo, both of which have become synonymous with his identity inside and outside the ring. Now, typically, WWE retains control of trademarks connected to talent under contract. However, there have been notable exceptions throughout the years where performers have either maintained those brands, predated their WWE tenure, or carry significant independent value. Guys, with AJ Styles taking this step right now, a few days before this match, I got to tell you, I'm starting to think that we're going to see him for the final time in the ring on Saturday. And we're going to start with Granny Hulkster. What is your take on all of this, Granny?
Well, I've heard, I heard him talk saying that, he was talking about retirement, Yeah, it's possible. But, I had the opportunity to get to meet AJ Styles back in 2014, I think it was, at an independent show in Benton, Arkansas. And he was a really nice guy. And we got my husband and I got our picture with him in the ring. And he said, Granny, don't you want to go watch the fireworks? And I said, AJ, I can see fireworks anytime. This is the only time I'm probably ever going to get to meet you, let alone get my picture with you. So no, I'm not going to go watch the fireworks. Thank you very much. As far as his retirement goes, yes, it's possible, but I don't know. I mean, he may retire after Saturday. I don't know. I love watching AJ Styles wrestle. I really do. And, if he does retire, the best of luck to him and whatever he decides to do. But, it's like once you get that wrestling in your blood, and I'm not a wrestler, guys. I'm just a fan. Even though people thinks that I am a wrestler, I'm not because of my gimmick name. But, I don't know, I don't honestly don't know.
Now, Mark, last year when you and I were doing a podcast, we spoke about this actually. AJ said by the time he was 50 years old, that's when he was retiring. He was retiring. What makes me still suspect is he's 48. So technically, if you're going to what he's saying, he still has 2 years left before he retires. Where do you stand with this, Mark?
Well, why renew your trademarks unless you're trying to prevent WWE acquiring them? All right. Yeah, is there a chance he could retire? Yeah, but I don't think so. After talking to Punk he wrestled Punk, I guess, just not too long ago.
But you hold on one second. But you bring up a point. After Monday Night Raw, AJ Styles addressed the fans and addressed CM Punk, but the cameras were off, right? And it very much sounded like he was saying goodbye. He really was. Go back and check that out, guys. I would watch it.
I saw the video. The video.
Yeah, go ahead, Mark.
I don't think it is. I think he'll go out WrestleMania or SummerSlam. To be honest, I don't see him going out this early.
Robbie, and I'm saving Grizzled Vet specifically last for a reason. Robbie, where are you at with this?
I guess if he's keeping it, or trying to get the rights to the trademark, could be what we talked about on previous podcasts. Could be finishing out in TNA.
Yeah. Grizz, I'll save you for last just because you're such a historian of wrestling. You know professional wrestling so well, and you studied it so much so that we've seen storylines and where we thought people were going to retire, and no, it was a work. Where are you at with this?
Part of me says that it's going to happen. I can totally see this Sunday or Saturday being his last match. I could also see the swerve where he somehow gets a win to set up a third match with Gunther later down the road, which will give Gunther that match where he retires AJ Styles, which is what we've talked about earlier. So I could see it going both ways. I'm still leaning more towards this is his final match, especially with the post that Shinsuke put up that immediately got taken down once it got some viewing because he might have spoke too soon. As far as the trademarks go, I don't think it's for TNA. I don't think people are saying AEW. I don't see that either. But those trademarks would help because AJ's young enough. Dude, he's got a good 10, 15 years. He could go out and do the convention circuits. He could go do the WrestleCons, the meet and greets and all that. And he can go and have the Phenomenal One and AJ Styles, and he can advertise that. And that's going to help him in it. Because he could have a whole new lucrative career just doing, the conventions now. Yeah. There's enough of them. So I think that's kind of partial of the reason for the thing, so he can own the name, so that he can go market it. Because it's going to sound better than the man formerly known as AJ Styles, or going by his real name. No, but if they can say the phenomenal AJ Styles, people are going to be chomping at the bit to get him for, like I said, wrestling or Herb Simmons just popped up. Hey, Herb, listen to me on this one. If you had a chance to book AJ Styles for a meet and greet, he wanted to come in, would you want him to come in as the phenomenal AJ Styles or the man formerly known as the phenomenal AJ Styles? Advertising wise, you want AJ Styles.
Right. Mr. Herb, thanks for joining us. You came in the perfect moment, because the next business I was going to get into before we go over AEW Dynamite is guys, don't miss FanFest 4, 2 huge days of fun and excitement. May 8th and 9th, meet legends, experience the energy, and be part of an unforgettable event. Man, I'm talking about Rick McCord. I'm talking about the Cuban Assassin. Fucking JBL, guys. He's going to be there. Mickey James. Talking about Powers of Pain. They're going to be there. Bobby Fulton's going to be there. Patricia Summerlin, the original Sonny, good friend of mine, lover. Doink the Clown's going to be there. The Brooklyn Brawler, the American Giant.
What a
so
coincidence.
So many more. To go get your tickets, or for more information, go to sicw.org. That is sicw.org. And of course, I'm going to be there. Not that I'm anybody important, but you see me there, come say hello. I love to meet people.
I want your autograph.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? That happened to be a thing. I swear to God, we were in Vegas. I had 3 people ask me for my autograph. I looked at my wife and went, they got to think I'm somebody else, because my podcast is, our podcast is so small. Let's get into AEW Wednesday Night Dynamite. Unlike WWE, we actually go right into a match. Kenny Omega versus Ricky Romero for the Don Callis family. Now, look.
Rocky Romero.
Yeah. Rocky Romero. I'm sorry, Rocky. Shut up, Mike.
That's what I'm here for.
Mark actually sent me a message during this match, and he was like, if you're not watching, watch it. He's like, you can find something funny. And what he's talking about is they made this match sound like this was such an important match with Kenny Omega. Will Kenny actually be able to beat Rocky Romero? And nothing against Rocky Romero. He's a fantastic talent, but we know the way he's been booked at AEW that there wasn't a snowball chance in hell that he was beating Kenny Omega. But I actually liked this match. Granny, what do you think about this match? And what do you think about them making this match, one of those type of matches that was so important for Kenny Omega, and making it seem like Kenny Omega may not be able to beat Rocky?
I liked the match. It was a good match. I really enjoyed it, and I'm really glad that Kenny Omega, won it, I mean, just so you guys know, and you're going to find this out about me as we go through this podcast tonight, Granny does not like the heels. I absolutely despise Don Callis and the Don Callis family. I hate Don Callis.
She's one of us.
Cannot stand the man. And if I ever had the opportunity to get to talk smack to Don Callis, bring it on, baby, because I would love to do it. I absolutely love to do it, but I thought it was a great match. I really did. And I thought it was kind of funny when Rocky Romero kind of slid over and was like being really cocky, like, oh, here I am, and Kenny Omega came up right behind him and just boom, just bopped him one, and I loved it. I mean, and I thought, that's what you get, Rocky, for being too cocky and too over egotistical with your attitude, so.
Now, I'm a heel guy. I love the heels, but even as a heel guy,
I don't.
Yeah. No, even as a heel guy, though, Don Callis, he's not a guy that I'm like, oh, yes, he's a heel. I love that. He's just something about him. He is so over as a heel that even guys who like heels don't like Don Callis.
I don't think anybody likes Don Callis.
Grizzle, I know overall you didn't really care for the show. You had a few problems with the show last night. What did you think about the first match?
Okay, I'm going to say this. We'll get into this. One, you talk about opening with a match. Okay, they didn't just open with a match. They opened with Kenny Omega coming to the ring. People flipping channels. Okay, Big Bang Theory's over. Here comes. Wait, who's this guy? That's going to get your attention. That's the way to start a show. If they didn't open it up with Rocky Romero coming to the ring, whoever was done with Big Bang Theory might have went, oh, click. So opening it with Kenny Omega coming out, perfect way to start opening. Match was good. I did not have an issue with the match. I enjoyed it for what it was. As Granny said, the sliding across the ring to do his little, hey, look at me. And then that knee looked like it about took his head off at the shoulders. That looked brutal to me. But this is the issue I have with the show. And we're going to talk about this in this entire episode. Rocky Romero is in segment 1 of the show, a member of the Don Callis family. We're going to play a game. Okay. I'm not a drinker because if I was, I'd be dead before the show is over. Let's take a shot every time somebody in the Don Callis family is in a segment on this show. It was AEW Don Callis family last night. By halfway through, I was realizing, God damn, they're showing up a lot in this show, and it never got better.
Well, it was just like,
is it good for the show? I don't know.
It was just like when Don Callis says, "Oh, I'm running this show. I'm running this company. It's going to be Don Callis Wrestling." And I'm like, no, it's not. No, it's not.
Now, I will give Don Callis credit for this, though. He plays his heel character perfectly because so many people hate him.
Right.
I'm not saying that's the problem. I'm saying the problem is you can't have so much of one thing in one show.
Well, and
you only see Paul Heyman in the Vision once or twice on WWE.
Right.
You don't see him 40 times.
You remember a while back, a few months ago, I said this Don Callis thing was slowly starting to remind me of when the NWO or WCW, not the good part of the NWO, towards the end where it got so damn ridiculous because everybody and their mama was part of that faction. And the whole show was basically about the NWO. This is what we're seeing now, the Don Callis family. Mark, agree or disagree?
It's kind of hard to disagree with it. Don Callis kind of reminds me of Paulie Dangerously back in the late 80s, early 90s with a Dangerous Alliance. But Heyman versus Callis, there's no comparison. Heyman was far better and is far better in his character role.
Yeah. Well, I'll give Don Callis this. He's much better in this role than he was as a professional wrestler. 100% hands down. What did you think about this, Robbie?
Match was good. Yeah, I guess I didn't look at it the way Vet looked at it. But now that he brought it up, and we'll get into it as we go on. Match was good. I guess I was waiting for, like, at the end of the Omega, having more people come in from the Callis family, but at least we didn't get that. So,
I'm going to keep a count.
Okay, so there's
over the results. I'm going to count every time they appear on TV in this show. We're going to find out what the final total is at the end of this recap.
Yeah. Now, after this, Robbie, your favorite guy, Tony Schiavone, interviewed Omega in the ring. Now, that's full stop right here. And Taz even called it out. What the actual, excuse me, Granny, fuck was Schiavone freaking wearing?
I want to know,
man. Banana yellow shoes.
I want to know who dressed him. His mom.
Well, I think it was either Excalibur or Taz. Who dressed Tony Schiavone? No,
Taz called him out, man. It was terrible. Anyway, nonetheless, he got in the ring to interview Omega. Omega declared that he is officially coming for the AEW World Championship. Of course, Hangman Adam Page is where Strickland both came out to both stake their own claims on the title. Don Callis then approved, boasting the Don Callis family would be the ones holding the title, and then he was basically chased off. Robbie, did we need this interview, man?
No, not really. No, should have let Omega go back to the dressing room, and we didn't need to see Tony. We didn't need to see Tony dressed by his mom, So, now we didn't need that segment.
Yeah, Grizzle, what about you? Do you agree with that? Is this a segment that was very important to the storyline of what's happening between Hangman Adam Page, Don Callis family, Kenny Omega, and of course MJF and Swerve.
I think as the show went on, and then we saw what came on later, and then how it ended, I think this kind of it. I didn't have as big an issue with it as first as I did. I think it kind of made sense in the overall scheme of the show. I'm glad to see I'm not the only one that noticed, Tony Schiavone's Dayglow yellow shoes. As soon as he stepped in the ring, I was like, "Wow, those are some bright shoes that my kids would not wear."
Right.
Tony should dress a little professional. I know he doesn't have to, but hey,
Yeah,
you be you, I guess.
Professional.
Well, Robbie, you have personal issues with him. He didn't call your match correctly.
Nah, he's an arrogant little fat bastard, and he thought he was somebody. So that's my issue with him.
Granny, now I know you love your baby faces. Was this a segment that you really held on to and was like, yes, we needed this?
I mean, I didn't see anything wrong with it. I mean, as it kind of, fit into the whole episode, how everything played out the rest of the night. So, I didn't think it was that bad. I mean, I actually kind of enjoyed listening to the interview, really, but, and I, with the exception of Don Callis coming out and running his mouth, I was glad that Kenny Omega went back and chased him back to the back. I love that. So
now, Mark, you're a guy that you hate Michael Cole. You don't like Michael Cole. You're kind of a Schiavone guy.
I am.
Where's your head at with all of this, man?
But I will say Tony is a shell. How can I put it? I said it the other night, damn it.
The shell of what he used to be?
Yes. I mean, he's nowhere near as good as he used to be. You can see he blunders. He blunders almost as much as Michael Cole does, to be honest. But them shoes last night, Tony Schiavone will never live that down. I'll guarantee it. They will be ribbing him until he's dead, and even at his funeral, they're going to rib him about that shit. Them shoes had no place to be in that ring.
Now, Granny, I'll go back to you for a second. I want you to tell the fans exactly who you are and what's your ties to professional wrestling and why Granny Hulkster, because you've been featured on a couple of shows with a couple of small things, haven't you?
Well, yeah, I actually, I was at AEW when they were in Tulsa at the BOK, and I did not realize this, but they opened the show with showing people in the crowd rather than the 30-second video like they always do. And all of a sudden, people started messaging me, Granny, we saw you on TV. And so when I watched the replay the next day, there I was taking a picture, and I thought, what am I taking a picture of? Well, I realized they had introduced Jim Ross about 10 or 15 seconds right before they showed me up in the crowd. So I was actually taking a picture of Jim Ross walking down the ramp when they introduced him. I mean, I have been a wrestling fan for years. I mean, the Granny Hulkster gimmick, okay, that actually, I got that name from a former coworker of mine, and we were at work one day, and we were in lunch break, and he says, I'm going to start calling you Granny Hulkster. And I said, what? And he says, I'm going to start calling you Granny Hulkster. I said, why? And he says, because you love wrestling. Now, if somebody would have told me 20 years ago when I first got this gimmick name, however long I've had it, I've kind of lost track, I would have told them that they were absolutely nuts. But this name has stuck with me. I had a very good friend, God rest her soul. She's been gone about 5 years now. She made me a t-shirt, and I've still got the t-shirt. And it says, what you gonna do when Granny Hulkster goes crazy on you? And it is full of autographs from wrestlers over the years. I actually had Sting, when I got to meet Sting last November in Pryor, Oklahoma, at that event I went to, when I was able to get his autograph, he actually signed that shirt. Hulk Hogan has signed that shirt when I got to meet Hogan in 2024. when he was here in Northwest Arkansas promoting his Real American Beer. I mean, I have met some big time name wrestlers. I am friends with some big time name wrestlers. I have picked up some big time name wrestlers at the airport and taken them to wrestling shows. I have gotten to do things that a normal wrestling fan would never get to do. I've got to sit in on seminars. I mean, I could give you a list of names of people that I am friends with. And it's just my husband, God rest his soul. And I know you probably can't see my t-shirt, but the t-shirt that I'm wearing tonight, it has my husband's picture on it. Next month, it'll be 2 years that I lost my husband to cancer. He died from cancer February 20th, 2024. And he was the biggest wrestling fan as I was. I mean, that's what we did together. That was our date nights. We went to wrestling shows. That's what we did. And I still go to wrestling shows even today, you know, to just carry on that memory of him. But, oh, yeah, I've got stories that I could just, we would have to do a whole nother show just to tell you some of the stories that I've experienced over the years.
That's awesome. We've got to make that happen. Fuck cancer. Let's just say that before we move on.
I agree.
Next, guys, we go to Jon Moxley versus Ace Austin. God, I'm a fan of Ace Austin. I think that this young man is so damn good. The big takeaway, well, Jon Moxley beat Ace Austin. We seen Takeshita interrupted and confronted Moxley face to face, signaling his interest in the Continental title. Moments later, Mark Davis and Jake Doyle of the Don Callis family attacked Moxley from behind, leaving him laid out, which played an important part later on in the show. Mark, start with you, man. What did you think about the segment?
You know, I really, before last night, I really didn't care for Ace Austin, but he showed something last night. I don't know what it was, but I'm getting on board. But when he was in TNA and I watched him in TNA, I absolutely despised him. Couldn't stand him.
Yeah.
I like that he's part of the Bang Bang gang, but that's not a big surprise because him and Jay White have a history, I believe.
Yeah, actually, I missed that part of him being part of the Bing Bang gang. I don't know if I wasn't paying attention at that point. I first was introduced to this kid actually on Collision, and I'm like, wow, this kid's actually pretty damn good. Grizzled, what was your thoughts on this match? And look, do you think Ace Austin is a potential future star?
I like Ace Austin. This match was, it was all right, but it just felt like he was just kind of put up there for Moxley to have a match. This did not come across as a legit like eliminator match because I don't think anybody gave him a shot at possibly beating Moxley. So it seemed kind of odd. Like they just kind of went, we want a match for Moxley. All right, we'll give him Ace Austin. It'll be competitive. It'll be good. And that's about it. You know, I mean, match was okay. It didn't seem to be the right place for her. So, I mean, if they're going to start giving eliminator matches to just like anybody, it's going to kill the. I mean, I already don't like the eliminator concept. You know, beat the champ, then you get a chance to beat the champ.
Right.
Okay. But if they start giving them to everybody, then it's going to kind of lose the anything to it. You know, if anybody can get a shot at it, it'd be like, oh, okay.
Yeah, my next question actually to Robbie was going to be, besides your thoughts on this match, what do you think about this whole elimination match thing? I'm not a fan of it because I agree with Grizzled Vet. It's like, okay, so you're in there, and then if you beat the champ, now you get to have an opportunity to have a match for it to actually mean something that you're beating the champ. It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, the match was good. And I like Ace Austin. What they should have did, if you're going to try to push the kid, they should have had him. They should have put him over Moxley. Like one of those big surprises, one kind of a move surprised Moxley or whatever, because Moxley didn't need to win. I mean, you agree with Vet that, you knew Moxley was going to win. So it would have been do the swerve thing and, put the kid over if you're going to push him, instead of, make it look obvious.
Right.
But the eliminator thing, whoever's in creative in AEW or whatever, some of the stuff they do just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I agree. What are your thoughts on this, Granny?
Well, I mean, it was a good match. I'm not familiar with Ace Austin. I've heard the name, but it was a good match. And I agree with Robbie, like if they were going to really push this eliminator match thing, maybe they should have, put him over, like with surprise win or something, I mean, it was a good match though. I mean, and he was really tough. I mean, he was a really tough competitor, so.
Yep. Terry says, good evening, everyone. Terry, I really hope you're still down on vacation.
Terry, if you are on vacation, tell him you're still in wherever he was. I was going to say the Bahamas. I know he's not in the Bahamas.
In Jamaica.
Jamaica.
Yeah, in Jamaica.
Rub it in on KG.
Next, guys, we go to the TNT Championship match. Mark Briscoe versus El Clone. Look, I like the match. What I didn't like was the basic power driver that El Clone just no sell. To me, that's just, I get some moves, the whole no sell thing. And even with the Road Warriors used to no sell back in the day, the power driver every now and then, that made sense because their necks were so goddamn thick, right? But
so were their heads.
Right. But El Clone here, nothing against the guy. He's good in the ring, but he's not the biggest guy in the world. And for him not to sell that power driver, that just doesn't make sense to me. And I wasn't a fan of that. Mark Briscoe won the match. Now, the big takeaway for this match was, holy shit, the lights went off, which happens all the time, AEW. That's not even special anymore.
Yeah.
The lights went off, and then we seen Psycho Killer. As soon as we seen that, I'm like, okay, this is going to be Ciampa, because I know that he just had that copyrighted. He made his debut with AEW. This is what I don't get, though, guys. I would say that a match between Ciampa and Briscoe, just because of who these two guys are, just because of how hard hitting these two guys are, very similar styles in a way. I don't agree with giving away this match at a Collision or even a Dynamite. I think that they should have built on this for their next pay-per-view, in my opinion. Giving Ciampa a title shot right away, just off the back. I don't know. It just bugged me a little bit. Nothing against Ciampa. But again, I want to see a storyline between these two and something building up to this instead of just saying, okay, I'm here, and all of a sudden, Collision, here's the match. Robbie?
Agree with you. You should have built it up and then put it at a pay-per-view or something like that. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, Granny?
Yeah, I agree. They should have built up the storyline a little bit better instead of just, him showing up and saying, okay, we're going to have this match between the two of them at Collision or Dynamite or what. They needed to build that storyline because they are both talented wrestlers, and that is going to be a good match, but they needed to build it a lot more to make it a lot more interesting, a lot more exciting.
Right. Look, Mark, I don't watch Collision very faithfully. I admit I don't. I'm going to be watching this Saturday because of this match. I'm very intrigued by this match. I say that to say this. If this is going to make me watch Collision, don't you think it may have made people watch the pay-per-view to see these two guys go at it? If they would have kept these guys apart with the storyline, not having them really touch each other until the pay-per-view, that could be a big match for pay-per-view, with having people who may not normally buy their pay-per-views actually purchase their pay-per-view. Your thoughts on that?
Well, I think they might be trying to infringe upon WWE Royal Rumble, depending on how long the Royal Rumble is. All right. And depending on what time Collision's starting, it was starting at an earlier time. While I think everything everybody said is just and valid, I think Ciampa came in, and this isn't the first time we've seen this in AEW, but because of his name recognition, he gets a title shot right off the street, you know? And it's because of that name recognition.
Yeah, and I don't like it. It is fun. I really hope AEW doesn't have in mind that they're going to try to top the Royal Rumble. I mean, there's not a promotion in the world that could go against the Royal Rumble, and they're not going to. The Royal Rumble is going to be, I think, at pretty early in the daytime, 1 or 2
o'clock our time, I think.
2 o'clock.
Yeah.
Central time?
2 my time. Well, 2.
Yeah, so 1 o'clock
2 Eastern, 1 Central, and 11 a.m. Pacific or something, whatever.
Yeah. So it's 1 o'clock Central time, our time, coming to mine.
Yeah. So, Vet, do you agree with what I'm saying? That, man, they should have held off and build this intriguing storyline between the two?
Absolutely not.
Really? Go ahead.
Okay. One, and we're going to put it this way. They did the open challenge the way an open challenge should be. He said, I want someone outside the Don Callis family to answer a challenge for Collision. So therefore, Tommaso Ciampa comes out, boom, title shot, because Mark Briscoe offered one to whoever steps up to take the challenge. Therefore, we got that. So no problem giving him a title shot on his first bet. The announcers did their bit to hype it up, saying these two have history. And if you're a casual fan, you're not going to know that. But if you've been watching well, you know that Ciampa and the Briscoes and all that, they fought many times before in the Indies. So we know this. So you have your setup. Now, Collision. Is there going to be a title change? I don't think so. I think this is going to be the taste. Give people a little bit to get Collision up. People are going to want to, oh, Rumble's over. Oh, dude, I want to go watch Ciampa and that. Okay. And then Tony's going to give them a little bit. And then we're going to get a rematch at Revolution at the pay-per-view. And that's going to be the big schmozzle that everybody's going to want to see. I don't think this is definitely not the end of it. It's not going to be Ciampa comes out, challenge, wins title, okay, show over. No, there's going to be a rematch to this. This is just going to give you a taste of what, in my opinion. I think that's how they're going to do it. So I have no problem with how they set this up.
I think that once we do see this match on an actual pay-per-view, I honestly think that we're going to see I think we're going to see Briscoe unlike what we haven't seen in him for a very long time. I think this match with Ciampa is going to bring out the old Briscoe. Mm-hmm. Very, very bloody, hard-hitting match.
When they get their big match, they're going to tear it up.
Right. On Collision, I think it's going to be very PG, right? It's Collision. But on the pay-per-view, that's a match I want to see in a pay-per-view for sure.
Give you the taste. I want to see more of this. They're not going to give you the whole thing.
Right.
And that's what wrestling. And I forgot to say about that once we started. I remembered, because if you go back, like Beth said, in the Indies, and even if you go back to ROH, when they were both in ROH, so.
Yeah. Next, we go backstage to Okada, who approaches Kyle Fletcher and apologizes, and Fletcher accepted the apology, seemingly squashing the tension between them.
That's where we're at so far.
Yes. Hold on. At this moment, when I was watching this, I'm like, really? Who gives a shit? But I think it didn't matter. And it mattered later on, and we'll get to that. Grizzle, start with you.
I had to step out of the room for a second when I came back in. This is where Okada apologized. Yeah. Okay. I didn't quite get it, but like you said, it made a little more sense later on. But right now, I'm kind of like, okay. And like I said, 5 times we've seen the Don Callis family so far, and I think we're an hour into the show, less than an hour.
Yeah, Granny, was this a promo that you could have went without, or did you know right away that it would matter?
Well, I agree with Grizzle that, it made sense later on as the show went on, but I didn't think it needed to be done, right then and there. Okay, he apologized. Big deal. Whoop-de-doo. He apologized. So move on. I want to watch wrestling. I want to see wrestling. I don't want to hear somebody apologizing to somebody for something. I want to see wrestling.
Right, Mark.
Is it my understanding that he had injured Kyle in their match?
That he what?
That he injured Kyle somehow in their match?
No, what happened was Kyle Fletcher during the Continental tournament, apparently Kyle Fletcher hit that screwdriver in the turnbuckle, and Okada ended up using it so he could win that match. And then when Kyle Fletcher went to grab something he planted in there later on in the show, it wasn't there, costing him the match.
Okay.
Sorry, I used your illegal foreign object and didn't put it back.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Which did make sense because this is the problem that I had to begin with this whole situation. One thing about this tournament that was really stressed was this is about the best of the best. No outside interference, right? No foreign objects. Just a strictly who's the better person in the match. And then they introduced this. And to me, for a moment, it took away from exactly what this tournament was supposed to be about. Because AEW, say a lot of things about AEW that they do wrong. These tournaments are usually damn good.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
When they do those things. Robbie?
It made sense later on. At the time, it didn't make sense. But at that time, so at the time when you saw it, you thought, why are we seeing this? But down the road afterwards, a little bit later in the show, it made sense.
Now, the next in-ring promo was MJF. And this is one of the promos that I had a problem with. And I'll tell you why. He comes in, he starts a promo, then Brody King interrupts. I agree with Grizzle. Brody King shouldn't be talking. That's number one. Number two, Brody King, and this may just be a Kevin issue, but nonetheless it was. When I think about Brody King, I think about this badass guy, right, that can hurt you. He looked like a dark last night, dressed the way he did. Dressed all nice, right? That's not the guy that I want to see in Brody King. I want to see Brody King, the guy that we love. The guy that will fuck you up. The next issue that I had is why would Brody King be okay with Tony Khan saying, look, MJF said that you have to beat someone and it has to mean something in order for you to get this title match. So you're going to just go ahead and face him. And then if you beat him, as we were talking about earlier, now you get to face him again, but this time for the title. If I was a contender, I'm like, well, no, why don't you put me against someone for the number one spot then? Because once I go against this guy and I beat him, I want the title. That's problems I have with it. Start with Mark.
You hit the nail on the head when he said he shouldn't talk. Yes, he needs a mouthpiece. All right. Because last night, before last night, he's this bruiser that you want to believe that can kick everybody's ass. But last night he came across as Teddy Ruxpin.
Right.
His fear factor went down by like 15 points last night just by him speaking.
Yeah. When he was with Malachi Black, and I love that MJF brought that up, but when he was with Malachi, he was a guy that I'm like, I wouldn't want to piss this guy off and run into him in Dark Alley. Last night, I'm like, I would just tickle him. I mean, seriously.
Right.
Granny?
Well, I'm not an MJF fan either, okay? So, I remember, I got a quick story to share with you guys about MJF. I have a really good friend, and he was at the airport up in New York, and I think it was MJF and Sean Spears and Wardlow. They were all going to a show. And Brian calls me his aunt, even though we're not related. And MJF came up to my friend Brian and he says, dude, I got a question to ask you. He says, you know a lady in Arkansas by the name of Granny Hulkster? And Brian says, well, as a matter of fact, I do. And he says, how do you know about Granny? And all MJF would tell him was word of mouth. I have still yet to figure out how Maxwell J. Freeman has found out about Granny Hulkster. But my friend Brian told Maxwell, he says, Maxwell, Granny could cut up your scarf with a pair of scissors. I mean,
that's a classical freaking heel thing for MJF to say. That's why I love MJF, because he keeps it kayfabe, man.
Oh, I know.
Guy in a business that keeps.
I know, but I and he'd be another one I would like to talk some smack to. You know, I'd like to yank that scarf off around from his neck. You know, just like take the scarf.
Brady's got a list.
Grizzle, you mentioned last week we all agreed about Brody speaking. Boy, did he say a lot this week.
I've mentioned it the last 2 weeks in a row. This is week number 3.
Yeah.
One, if he's going to come out to look intimidating, put him in a sleeveless black shirt. Put him in a tank top. Put him in something that's going to accentuate the tats and the look. He comes out wearing like the coat that the guy coming into the grocery store in the winter storm is wearing. You know, it not. I don't get it.
You're looking like a fat Mr. Bean.
A few weeks ago, you guys were criticizing Eddie Kingston for how he dresses. Good Lord. Even Eddie Kingston looks a little more intimidating in his outfits than, Brody King looks in that jacket. I don't get
Brody didn't look very intimidating last night.
And as far as the speaking goes, no, he should not. Maxwell, I'm going to come out there and I'm going to beat you. I want a shot at this. That's called friendship. That's called being friends. Okay, but I'll be there for whatever. He doesn't fit. But when he mentioned the Eliminator thing, okay, then it got a little, I'm coming. If he would do that a little more in his promo at the beginning and give him a little gruff in that voice, it would be a little more believable. But he saves the gruff for the end, and then he barks and whatever. As far as the Eliminator match goes, this is the problem. This is what paints Tony Khan into a corner. You got to beat somebody. So Tony Khan, if I beat you, I get a shot at you at Revolution, or at the Grand Slam in Australia, whatever it is. I get a shot at you, yada, yada, yada. Okay, well, so if he beats you, you get a shot at him again, but you already beat him, so technically you should be the champion. No. Tony Khan gave me an Eliminator match. I'm going one-on-one, blah, blah, against a surprise opponent. I win, I get you. That would make more sense then. If I beat you, then I get to beat you again.
Right. Now, Robbie, we'll come to you. MJF said something last night that was the quote of the night. Unfortunately, for me, it felt dead because of how Brody was dressed. Never in my life have I met a liberal man that looks more like a Nazi. You know what? If he would have come out dressed like this killer dude, as we're talking about, sleeveless shirt, accentuated the tattoo, something, I'd be like, holy shit, that's awesome. But that's, to me, I compare that to saying that to some little high school girl with pigtails. You know what I'm saying? It didn't fit because of how Brody was dressed last night. It just didn't. Robbie, man, am I on? Am I off?
No, the line was hysterical. So, but what, like we talked about, what Brody should have did, the same thing that, accentuate him, have, dress him like the badass. What he should have did when, MJF was going at him, go at him and grab him by the shirt, get in his face. He kind of raised his voice at the end of the promo and stuff, but, because they had Max kind of fearful of him and stuff. But that way, if he'd grabbed him and, kind of yelled at him through there or whatever, it would have made more sense. But I mean, where Mark said that, they need a mouthpiece, but who are you going to give him as a mouthpiece? I mean,
not Callis.
No, not Callis. Do not want to see him in another. I do not want Callis to have more people.
No.
Mark, I swear to God, I will drop you off of this podcast.
That faction's already big enough. They need to start dropping people out of there.
Right.
I'm hoping. Here's my hope after, and when we get to it, I'll tell you my hope when we get to it.
Okay. Granny, Terry Zeller says, Granny, we will see you March 7th in Harrison.
Well,
We can't hear you, Granny.
but I honestly don't know. Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can now.
Hold on. Okay, I was having a phone call come in. Sorry. Anyways, I don't know, Terry. I would love to be able to be in Harrison March 7th. I've just got to check my schedule because I'm not sure what I have going on then.
Well, you know what? If you're not at Harrison March 7th, Granny, I want to see you in Illinois, May 8th.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah. Who's gonna? Okay, I'm on a fixed income, guys. I am disabled. I do not work. I don't have the money but I would love to be there. I really would. I would love to be there. That would be awesome. I actually know Herb Simmons. I've actually met him a couple of different times. Really nice man. I would love to be there, but somebody, if somebody wants to send Granny some money and where I could attend, that would be awesome.
That KG, break into that Get Your Bell Rung bank account. Pay that ticket.
Yeah, we're not in the negatives every month. I actually paid to do this, and I'm not generating any money.
Help Granny out here.
We're working on it.
Hopefully, one day. Next, guys, we go to one of the pointless things that they did last night. One of the most pointless things, which was a video package announcing the return of the Young Bucks. And the reason why I say it's pointless, and it wasn't no disrespect to the Young Bucks be saying this, but it's not like they haven't been on TV. They've been off of TV for what, a week? But they have to have this big video that they'll be back. Can't you just during a match say a tag team match? By the way, guys, Young Bucks will be back next week. Does anyone have anything to say, or can we just move on from this silliness?
Well, I didn't give a shit about this.
Well, yeah, but here's the thing. And when they've been on, they made it a point, we're going to go back to the old style. Well, they never changed from the old style.
Right.
Agreed. Next, we go to the AEW Women's World Championship match. Chris Statlander versus Tekla. Guys, look. These women are talented. They are. I'm not going to take away anything from both of these women. I am just not a fan of either one of them. So this wasn't a match I really gave two shits about, to be honest with you. Granny, start with you. Are you a fan of these women, and what you think about the match?
Well, I wasn't really familiar with either one of them. I mean, so it was a good match. I mean, it was all right. I mean, like I said, I'm not familiar with either one of those ladies. I don't always get to see AEW all the time. And when I do, I usually have to, watch the replay of it like I had to do, I had to watch the replay today because I don't have cable, but I'm not familiar with either one of these ladies. So, I mean, it was okay. I mean,
I agree with you. The match wasn't bad. It's kind of like one of those things that, okay, there's a certain food item that you really like, but you don't like eating it that day. So then when you have to eat it, it's not appetizing for you. That's how it was for this match. Good match. It's just, when you don't care about it, it's hard to get invested, at least for myself. Mark?
Either I didn't realize how big Chris Statlander was or how small Tekla was, because I was in utter shock when they were standing face to face. I'm like, damn. So it seemed kind of like a mismatched pairing to me. I like Tekla. I'm not a huge fan. Statlander, I think she's finally got her flowers. I like her as a champion. I don't think there's anything extraordinary about her. I think she's almost a Timu ripoff of Rhea Ripley, to be honest. But I like her.
Grizzle, your eyebrows rose with that.
Yeah, wow, that's a quite a description. Match was okay. I'm a Statlander fan. I like Chris. I think people underestimate her. Match was all right. There wasn't anything really bad about most of the matches tonight, so that's overall. But I mean, it was okay. I mean, I'm not a huge Tekla fan, but she held her own on this one. It didn't look overly, we're not talking Becky Lynch, Maxine Dupree levels here. So, each of women hold their own in this match. So
Yeah.
I was okay with it.
After the match, we seen Willow Nightingale and Harley Cameron come in the ring to celebrate with them, while Megan Bain and Penelope Ford looked on from ringside. Robbie, couple of things. One, well, actually, guys, check out my Facebook page, KG Landry. I wrote a small little article about Willow Nightingale. I love Willow Nightingale as a singles competitor. Not really down with her being tag team with Harley Cameron. I like Harley Cameron as a singles competitor, though. But Willow Nightingale, really, she's kind of the someone that, if you're struggling with obtaining goals, you kind of look at her as someone that she did too, but she didn't give up, and she's where she's at. Read that article that I wrote. I thought it was really good. Robbie, man, look, I don't want to see Megan Bain put in another match for a title just for her to lose. She looks too damn good. And I'm not talking about, she's attractive. I'm talking about that, as a fighter, as an intimidator. She looks too damn good. I personally think she's good in the ring. For her to be the one that, yeah, she has a really good win-loss record, except when it counts against a title and she's constantly dropping the ball. What do you say about that? And before you go there, got to say, Ronnie Gossett, brother, man, I hope you're feeling better. Constant thoughts going out, positive vibes. We love you. He's struggling with some foot issues in the hospital. Follow Ronnie on social media. Such a great talent, man. Thank you. It's an honor that you're joining us in this podcast. Robbie, go for it.
Okay. Well, I'm a Statlander fan, so kind of with Grizzled there. I not a fan of Tekla. I kind of put her in that Julia category. I don't see the attraction, but the match was good. Yeah, I mean, they hype up Megan Bain. They need to just take her away from Penelope and just let her go as a singles, and then just push her. But they push her as a badass, and then when you get to the title shots, yeah, she drops the ball and everything. Yeah, I agree. She's a stud. I don't understand, why they're not pushing her more. I just don't understand why she's with Penelope Ford.
Yeah.
I don't know. So, and Ronnie, wish you a speedy recovery.
Yeah, Ron says, thank you so much, brother. Love you, man. We all love you too, man. Next, we go to the backstage segment that kind of ties in together the whole Okada apologized, Kyle Fletcher, with the Don Callis family. He was shown speaking with Takeshita, advising him on forgiveness regarding Okada, and Kyle Fletcher was there. And when Don Callis kind of walked away, you see Takeshita look at Kyle Fletcher like, really, you forgave him? And Kyle Fletcher was like, well, yeah, I think that this is they're slowly getting into some drama, getting in with the certain people within the family. Hopefully we'll see some of these guys break up. I still say that they're going to turn on Takeshita, and that Takeshita is going to go on his own as a competitor without this faction, because look, the fans cheer him. I'm a Takeshita fan. I think he's great. Start with you, Grizzle.
Well, once again, yeah, this kind of tied it into the previous one, so it started to make a little more sense. By the way, appearance number 6. I'm with you though. I liked Takeshita when he first showed up.
Yes,
I always liked Takeshita. You kind of saw, but unfortunately, he kind of had some of that baggage of where it came from, because I believe he was DDT, and DDT promotion was known more for some of their like wrestling, blow up dolls and doing stupid shit matches like that. But I think he was able to kind of obviously get out from underneath that, and prove. I mean, he was IWGP champion, which makes it weird that this man held like the biggest title in New Japan just recently, and now he's like wanting a shot at John Moxley's Continental title.
Yeah. Now, and I agree with everything you said. Because I never heard of Takeshita before, to be honest with you, until he showed up at AEW. And I thought, okay, this is a big guy. He looks good, but I completely expected him to kind of be that talent that was only booked to put people over. Well, it was pleasantly surprising to see, man, this kid is good. Granny, your thoughts on this?
Well, like I said, I'm not familiar with. I've heard his name. I had not seen him really wrestle yet that much, but I kind of agree that I think the Don Callis family is probably going to end up turning on him and doing whatever they want to do to him, to get him out of the Don Callis family. That wouldn't surprise me one bit. I think, him and Moxley having a match, I think that would be a pretty good match. I mean,
yeah. Robbie?
Yeah, which you kind of hope watching that segment, and this is where I was going to go with it earlier, and I just kept my big mouth shut. So, and waited for the moment, is you kind of hope, well, Takeshita is going to go, but you kind of hope that Fletcher gets out of there too. Because I like Fletcher. The kid's got talent, and it's same like Takeshita. And it'd be good to see them break away and just be on their own.
Yeah, Mark. Just recently, Billy Gunn said in so many words that Kyle Fletcher, hands down, I think Billy said it, he's one of the best wrestlers in the world, if not the best. Do you agree with that? And talk to me about this backstage segment with Takeshita and with Kyle Fletcher. Would you prefer to see them turn on Takeshita, everyone, and end up having maybe a Kyle Fletcher versus Takeshita match? Or would you prefer to see them turn on Kyle Fletcher and Takeshita? Both.
I think if Takeshita goes, Kyle's gonna go. As far as Kyle being one of the best, I think in one of our shows, I don't know, 6-8 months ago, I compared Kyle Fletcher to a young Randy Orton. I don't know if you recall that or not, but
yep, I do.
And I think you smited me for it too.
Yes, I did. I
think Kyle Fletcher has all the potential in the world.
Grizzle, before we go to the next segment, what do you think about the comparison that Kyle Fletcher is comparing it to a young Randy Orton?
I don't know. I've never thought of comparing him to Randy Orton. I don't know who I would compare Kyle Fletcher to, because he's kind of his own unique whatever. I mean, maybe the way they're pushing, but I don't know. I don't know if I would compare him to Randy Orton. It doesn't sound right to me to compare him to Randy Orton. I don't know who, if anybody, you could compare him to.
Well, his style, to me, he mirrors he's out right now.
Will Ospreay.
Those two mirror one another, in my opinion. Go ahead, Mark.
All right, you got to look at the swagger they both carried. Randy, when he first 2 years, all that swagger. We had that busted shoulder or whatnot. He'd come in and just do vignettes or whatnot. All that swagger. Kyle has that. They have similar builds at similar age. Well, no, Randy had a better build at a younger age. All right. But they have similar builds. I think the similarities are there, to be honest.
I think the reason
I guess I can see that.
I think the reason why I disagree with you is because I personally think Fletcher is much more athletic than what Randy Orton was at that age. And actually, to be honest with you, and I love Randy Orton, I think Kyle Fletcher is more athletic than Randy now, to be honest with you. That's just
I could see swagger. I could see the way he carries himself, but work rate in the ring, I'm almost with you. I'd put Kyle Fletcher above Randy Orton.
No, I disagree with that because there's too many people that would say that Randy Orton, when he first started, made this look effortless. They said he was a natural born in the ring. And Kyle's good, but I don't think he's got that natural good. I think Kyle's got a thick work horse attitude, and I think he had to work twice as hard as Randy did.
Well, you know what? Let's go to an expert on this. Granny Hulkster.
What? I'm not an expert. So I mean,
Better
you know,
performer. Better performer. Is it and better in the ring? Fletcher or Orton?
well, I haven't seen Fletcher wrestle that much, so I can't honestly give an opinion about Fletcher. Randy Orton, yes, he's very good. I mean, you know, now when Randy Orton's a heel, I don't like Randy Orton. When he's babyface, and I mean, I've met Randy Orton's dad. I have met Cowboy Bob Orton on several occasions, and I have a story about Bob Orton that I could share with you really quick if you guys wanted to hear it. It's funny.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I actually hung out with Bob. I
we
hung out
were
with Bob and his sister in Vegas quite often. They're there. Great individuals, both of them.
We were at a Legends show in Harrison, Arkansas for Mid-States Wrestling. And Cowboy Bob Orton was there for the show. And he literally stops in the middle of the match and turns to me in the ring and stomps his foot and puts his hand on his hip and starts shaking his finger at me. He says, Granny, he says, why are you booing me? I thought we were friends. And I said, because, Bob, you're not being a very nice guy tonight. You're being very bad, and that's why I'm booing you. But he literally just stops in the middle of the match like, why are you booing me, Granny? I thought we were friends.
Yeah, I love Bob. His sister's great as well. I love both of them. Let's go next to let's kind of fly through this interview segment, and so we get to the main event. Orange Cassidy was interviewed backstage before being interrupted by Yuta Wheeler. And Marina Shafir. The confrontation escalated a little bit with Tony Storm jumping in there. And then Orange Cassidy, Tony Storm doing their dumb little shit. Man, I hated it. Sorry. I hated it. It was dumb. It was unnecessary. And it obviously was a space filler, in my opinion. Mark, start with you briefly.
You know, it would have been better if she would have said, got milk.
Yeah, I just like it. Granny?
Well, it was a little dorky, especially the little dance move at the end, you know, when Orange Cassidy and Tony Storm were dancing off the, you know, doing that little dance step. I mean, it was a little far-fetched.
Yeah. Robbie?
Yeah, could have did without it.
Yeah. Grizzle?
You could have done without it, but for me, it was a little bit of comic relief in the
True.
show, so I didn't mind it too much. And, you know, Granny has said she doesn't watch a lot of AEW, so the dance move might not make sense to you, but they've actually done that in the ring during matches where they'll do a little dance thing, but they incorporate it into doing, like, they'll do a kick in their dance, and it's them kicking their opponent. Or they'll do a spin and they spin with the other end of their opponent.
They incorporate it into their moves.
Yes, they've incorporated it into their repertoire.
Yeah,
the repertoire.
It was
makes
kind
a
of
little more sense if you don't.
It made me laugh. It made me laugh, you know.
Yeah.
So.
Well, now that we got past that, in my opinion, terrible segment, let's go to the main event. Look, the main event, man. I'm surprised by the ending, to be honest with you. I did not see that coming.
Excuse me. Hello.
Yeah.
Reel it in here a little bit.
What?
FTR versus Davis and Doyle.
Oh, yeah. I thought we talked about that. My bad. We talked about Davis and Doyle earlier, and my apologies. I should remember that. Let's talk about that because actually it's very important. Mark Davis and Jake Doyle with the Don Callis versus FTR. Look, this was a very hard-hitting match. I like this match. Unfortunately, Jake Doyle was injured during the match. Messed up his shoulder pretty good. I wrote an update on it. Not a whole lot of information has come out yet. I hated to see this because Mark Davis and Jake Doyle, considering that they're a brand new tag team that just got put together, they work well together. Now, the end of it was something. So we seen Moxley come out with a couple of guys with Death Riders, interfered, hit Mark Davis in the head, which helped FTR get the pin. Now, this is where I got lost, guys. And Robbie, we'll start with you. Help me out, man. After this chaos happened, and the camera panned in on Moxley and what's his name? Help me out here.
Daniel Garcia.
Daniel Garcia. They were both making these faces, and it's kind of like they were lost, like something like I don't know what to do next type of a thing. It was after the match. It just looked very weird and off script. Like, obviously maybe it was because Jake Darrow was injured and there was something that was supposed to happen after they lost the match. I don't know, but it was very awkward looking. Robbie?
Yeah, I agree with you on that it was awkward looking. You knew from earlier that when Doyle and Davis interfered or went after Moxley, you knew they were coming out and there was going to be some kind of, something that either was going to cost them the match against FTR or whatever. So, I mean, Tony kind of went WWE there. He got WWE-ized, and you knew he kind of made it predictable. From what I heard was Doyle ripped his bicep.
Right. I was going to say, I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but during this part of the match, he yelled, "I just tore my bicep." So, hopefully it wasn't an actual tear. I haven't heard anything yet about it. I'll be following up on that, though. Go ahead, Robbie.
Yeah. So, I mean, you kind of, like, I agree with you. It sucks for them because they actually, in the beginning, I wasn't a big fan of them, but watching them work, they thought they looked good together, and a lot of the stuff that they were doing looked good. And plus you just hate to see a guy get hurt anyways. But they definitely were your next tag team champions. They just looked good. They looked the part, everything, especially Doyle. Doyle looks really good. At the end, Moxley and them, and I wish they'd just take him out of the Death Riders now and get, because the crowd's cheering him. You can tell they want him back as Wild thing. Just get him out of the Death Riders, put Cesaro as the leader and stuff. It just, because you got Shivani putting them over and everything like that. So,
Right. Granny?
Well, it was a very good match. I mean, I kind of figured Moxley was going to come out and interfere somehow, after what happened, what they did to him after his match, but it seemed like the looks on their faces was like there was a lot of confusion there, like, oh, what's going on, but I agree with Robbie about, they need to get John Moxley out of the, that faction, because everybody's been cheering him a lot lately. I know when I was in Tulsa for AEW, the crowd was going wild when Moxley came out. I mean, they just were less like, the roof could have fallen in as loud as they were cheering for Moxley that night.
Yeah, what's funny, Mark, is that, at the end of the match, whenever they looked like there was confusion going on, Moxley didn't even seem like he hit it because while on camera, he was like, and at first I'm like, is he trying to sell that? Well, I don't know how he lost the match. Or was he like truly he looked confused, him and Daniel Garcia, about what the fuck's going on, Mark?
Well, AEW is kind of known for miscues, quite a bit of miscues. Overall, I enjoyed the match. I like Jake, whatever his name is or whatever. I liked him in TNA. Mark Davis reminds me of Ole Anderson. And then that leads me right into the Wrecking Crew of Ole and Lars. These guys had the fundamental basis to be the next Wrecking Crew, to be honest, in my opinion. But you guys didn't like my last opinion about Kyle Fletcher, so.
I actually agree with you with that. Now, something, go ahead, Grizzle.
Well, no, I was going to say, no, the match was good. It was what we were expecting. Right. Davis and Doyle held their own. They were looking great against FTR. And then that one move. You knew Moxley was going to come in. The one move, though, when he hit the move, I'm like, well, that looked bad. I mean, you knew he was hurt and you never saw him again. I went back later on to watch it again, and that's when I could hear him saying, my bicep. And from what I'm hearing now, just prior to us starting this show, it is coming out that it is looking like it's a torn bicep, and he's probably going to miss 6 to 8 months. Right. So that right there is going to just shut down the Davis and Doyle, obviously, tag team. Can they build it back up? Maybe. Don't know. One thing I want to ask, though. Robbie, you watched Collision last week?
Yes.
Okay. Last week on this show, we talked about how great Jordan Oliver and Alec Price looked in their debut, right?
Right.
Remember how sharp they looked, how great they looked? Why did they obliterate them on Collision 3 days later? It looked like two different teams when they wrestled on Collision. They got slaughtered.
Yep. I actually watched Collision as well. And
you never watched it, so I didn't know.
So
I was going with Robbie.
Guys, one thing else, it was the whole backstage segment we were talking about the guest that threw me off. And we don't have to go into it, but just cover a little bit. The video package footage aired showing the demand attacking Jack Perry and putting him through a table. I give completely zero Fs about the storyline.
That was the shittiest segment of the entire
show. But they
already
already did that segment. Why show it again? Because that's the same segment they showed a different episode.
That segment was hot garbage. I'm sorry.
Granny, Mark, unless you guys say, Grizzle, if you guys have anything to say about it, go ahead. But
that segment was hot garbage. That's all I have to say.
I don't think it needed to be there. I mean,
excuse me.
I like Jack Perry. I really do. And but Ricochet, he just like that little segment. Oh, this is your captain for all my frequent flyer mile. This is your captain speaking, like it was so dumb. I mean, it was like, really, seriously, you're going to go there with this? This has already happened. And
right now, Mark, honestly, look, I like Ricochet in AEW, and I like him with the demand. I just don't like the storyline involved with him, Jack Perry, and Luchasaurus. What about you?
I don't think you can have Jack Perry be in any storyline and enhance anything, to be honest. I like Jack Perry when he was TNT champion or TBS champion or whatever it was. I liked him then, and I like him now. I like his music he comes out to now. But I just don't see Jack Perry as a threat to anybody.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Next, now we go to the main event, Andrade versus Swerve Strickland. Again, I was shocked by the ending. The one thing that I did not like whatsoever, and this is the first time they did it on Collision, matter of fact, was the whole thing of him going to some girl in the freaking crowd and getting her number or whatever. It's stupid. It's absolutely stupid in my opinion, and I hate that part. Other than that, it was a good match. And again, I was shocked by the ending. Granny, start with you.
I was really shocked by the ending of it. I just, it was a good match, though. I mean, it was a hard fought match.
Yeah. Yep. Mark?
I was in utter shock. I thought there was no way in hell Andrade was going to beat Swerve. So when but what led up to it that really kind of tweaked me was the referee holding her arm out for Andrade to grab, and I thought she was taking something from him, like a foreign object, and it turns out that it was supposed to be he was grabbing her. No, she was reaching out to him. And I'm like, God, there's a miscue right there. But as far as Andrade winning, no, I would have never thought that. Yeah, and I'm happy because I like Andrade.
Right. Grizzle, one thing that I hate winning by a nut shot, because the nut shot thing is like, yeah, I'm a guy, I get it, it hurts. But if I was in a match, someone hit a nut shot and they went to cover me for 3 seconds, I could kick out of that. I just could. Right? It's not something that's going to knock me out. Your thoughts on the match and the finish?
I was a little surprised by the finish. By the way, with Andrade coming out into this match, that gives us a total of, let me get my hands out here. Let me get my numbers correct. 9 appearances by the Don Callis family in a 2-hour fucking show. 9.
Yeah.
This is why I said I had an issue with this. We don't need 9 segments with the Don Callis family.
No.
I was a little surprised by the win. I could see why they did it because, honestly, out of the Don Callis family, who does he got? Kyle Fletcher, Andrade El Idolo. And I think Andrade's story is great because they brought him in. WWE went, oh, you can't do anywhere for an entire year. And he fought it, and they went, oh, well, shit, we can't do that. So, hey, props to Andrade, get back in that main event scene. So, surprised. But, yeah, the nut shot. And I've been in fights. I've had a guy kick me in the balls. I didn't go, oh, fight's over, you win. Oh, shit. No, they kick me in the balls, and I get fucking pissed off, and I pop them in the nose and, or whatever, and they ain't breathing for a few minutes. I'm not going to stand there and go, no. Right. So the nut shot kind of doesn't make sense.
And on top of it, AEW does it way too much. They go to that a lot. And it aggravates me.
Yeah, I was shocked. I mean, I didn't think now, but if you think now, so now it's Andrade against Omega, and it's going to be how many people are going to interfere in this match from the Don Callis family. So that's storyline number 1. Storyline number 2 is, all right, this is my opinion. I'm not invested in Andrade. Okay, so what's going to happen when he doesn't win the title? We're going to get out of this contract because truthfully, nobody cares about you over here. We're going to go back to WWE and the same thing. You're not going to be over there. You're just going to keep going back and forth. And nobody really gives a shit about you. You're
God
just
damn, Robbie, did Andrade steal your freaking cookies or something?
No shit.
I mean, look, I agree. Yeah, this was a surprise ending.
I mean, the dude's good.
Make no mistake about it. There is no way that they're pushing Kenny Omega right now just to have him lose to Andrade. That's not happening.
No, but they're gonna. How many people are coming out from Callis or whatever? Yeah, Kenny's going over. I mean, you can't put the belt on. I mean, you can put the belt on Andrade, but I don't think anybody's going to care.
Right.
I mean, I just don't, he's not that big, the hype of that whole AEW. I mean, it's Swerve, it's MJF, and it's Omega.
I'm going to push back a little bit because normally if you're in the Don Callis family, because of the fans, how much they just don't like Don Callis, you're getting booed, right? Andrade was going against Swerve, a guy who's very beloved in AEW last night. They were cheering Andrade last night. The fans were. So I wouldn't go as far as saying that they don't care. I think the thing with Andrade is the same situation with Adam Page is they'll support him for the chase, but you put the title on him, that's when I think that they'll turn and not care.
Right.
The Adam Page theory.
Syndrome.
Right.
They want to see him chase it. They don't want to see him win it.
Yep. Guys, that takes care of AEW Dynamite. Go ahead.
Oh, wait.
Oh, no, the closing angle. Sorry, I forgot.
Which is what I said made what happened at the beginning promo make a little more sense.
Right. Next, we go to Renee Paquette interviewing MJF backstage. The interview was interrupted by Kenny Omega. And then, as MJF was walking away from him, Andrade El Idolo. And then, as he left the arena, Hangman Adam Page appeared and stared him down, closing the show with major tension around the World Championship title. Grizzle, go for it.
This is what, after watching this, the promo earlier with Omega and Swerve and everything came out made more sense because it tied it together. And I like it when they kind of tie the show together. The ending promo with MJF walking to the car and, Kenny and Andrade and Adam Page. I was almost waiting for him to get to his car and like Brody King pops out of it. Or he gets in and Brody King's like, let's go, and drives off with him. I would have loved to see Brody King show up in this. But it tied it together, which I like it when you open a show with something and you close the show with something and it kind of, puts a nice little bow on the top of the package, especially after 9 segments with the Don Callis family.
You mean once every 13 minutes?
Like,
Granny, your thought about how they close the show?
Well, I agree with Grizzle. I mean, I like the way, you know, how they ended it and everything, and it tied everything all together, you know, from the very beginning, you know, of the show. But it would have been funny to see Brody King pop out of MJF's car and just deck him or do something to him, you know. So
see Brody standing there with a sledgehammer and there's a smashed windshield.
Yeah.
Something.
Mark?
No, it would have been better with the Roadhouse knife to the gas pedal and let the car go and crash it.
Robbie?
Yeah, I mean, it ended well. So, yeah, that was it was good.
Now, before we get into talking about Royal Rumble, I would give Dynamite a B- last night. Robbie?
A B.
A B? Granny?
A B.
Mark?
I'll give it a B.
Grizzle?
I'm just going to be the dick tonight. What the fuck? I'm giving it a C. Because
wow.
And there's a reason why. No problem with the matches.
It was
Cameron.
It was 9 fucking segments with the Don Callis family. If I watched WWE Raw and WWE Raw put on like, you know, a stellar main event WrestleMania style card for a Monday Night Raw, but I saw the Vision 9 fucking times in the show, it's gonna kill it for me because it's too much.
Right.
Now with the Vision, that might be too much of a good thing. And the Don Callis family, it might be too much of we don't need that much of them. But
that's a bad thing.
So I'm gonna give it a C just because there's too much Don Callis family.
Fair enough, guys. Let's get into the Royal Rumble. Grizzle, take it away.
All right, first off, KG, I'm gonna test your trivia knowledge here.
Go ahead.
Well, you can ask for help from Robbie and Granny and Mark if you want.
Yeah, my memory's bad too, though.
Well, maybe between the two of you might.
If you're about to ask who won some particular year, but go ahead.
Right?
No, I'm not. Well, I kind of am. Who won the first Royal Rumble?
Oh, the very first one. Oh my God.
Jim Duggan.
Wrong.
Was it Duggan? Yeah, I thought it was Hacksaw.
Wrong.
Was it? Who was it?
One Man Gang.
One Man Gang.
October.
Wasn't it for the title back then?
No.
It wasn't?
October 1987. Here's before I go into the One Man Gang thing. Who created the Royal Rumble?
Oh, Pat Patterson.
All right, good job. A+.
And it wasn't called the Royal Rumble back then. The very first one was called the Rumble Royal.
Yeah, they changed. They flipped around. Yeah.
Who won the first Royal Rumble in WWE?
Test me, Mark. I got it back.
Yeah,
I got it back.
Big time historian.
Jim Duggan.
Wrong.
That's what it says right here. Jim Duggan.
Hacksaw Jim Duggan won the WWE Royal Rumble in January 1988. Before they ran the WWF Royal Rumble in January of 1988, which Hacksaw Jim Duggan did win, they did a test run of the WWF Royal Rumble out of Ontario, Canada, a 20-man Royal Rumble, which was won by the One Man Gang.
But it wasn't acknowledged as the first Royal Rumble, though, was it?
Yes, they called it the Rumble. It was a test run. It was a test run at a house show to make sure that all the bells and whistles and the gimmicks worked and the timing was right before they presented it in January of 1988, which is the one that Jim Duggan won. If you look up who won the first Royal Rumble, it's always going to tell you Hacksaw Jim Duggan, but there was a test run of one in October of 1987, 3 months prior, which was won by the One Man Gang.
Wow.
There's your trivia fact for the day.
Interesting.
Yeah. Now,
but no, for the title didn't come until 1993, and that was a result of the Survivor Series win by The Undertaker in when he won the title from Hogan getting it back at Tuesday in Texas, but they threw the whole, Ric Flair thing in there and interfering, so they stripped the title, put it up for grabs in '93 Rumble, and that was the one where Ric Flair won the title.
Now, when did the Royal Rumble actually become the big event that set the pace for the road to Royal Rumble, the road to WrestleMania?
Oh, you would have to ask me that. God damn it. I don't have my ears on this one. Hold on just a second.
Yes,
Way to stump him. Way to stump him.
You stumped me, motherfucker.
Yeah,
My thing is, I can't remember like exact years of what happened on my KG on that one, unfortunately. But
Mark, what was your favorite Royal Rumble?
You know, and I'm gonna get booed for this, but when Benoit won,
that was a good one.
Yeah. Granny?
Oh my gosh. There's been so many Royal Rumbles that have been really, really good. It's hard to choose a favorite, really, for me. I mean,
For me, believe it or not, it was when Ric Flair won it because I was such a big NWA guy, Mid-South Wrestling, that to see a NWA guy win something that big on, the other channel, that was pretty cool to see. Robbie?
I agree with you, but seeing Flair win it, just because I'm a big Ric Flair fan, and being in the NWA, so
Right.
I have to show my alliance.
Grizzled.
he's still researching.
I'm still looking up, and unfortunately, I'm unable to find that year. But yes, no, it did become the Rumble where you entered a title shot to go on to WrestleMania. Favorite Rumble for me though, the Benoit one was good, but I've always kind of been a fan of was the Shawn Michaels, where it started off with him and Bulldog, it ended with him and Bulldog, and you thought Bulldog won. But then, Shawn Michaels came in, dumps him off the top rope, because that was the first time you saw the hanging on ropes, and they did the both feet much touch the floor. Before that, it wasn't both. They, when you toss a man over the top rope, they let, and they never emphasized it. When Shawn Michaels did this thing where the 1 foot, but he kept swinging it, that's when they started interpreting that both feet much touch the floor, and that kind of evolved into what we've seen with different eliminations, and obviously, of course, the Kofi Kingston run.
Yep. Now, guys, recent news, Pat McAfee came out and said that Brock Lesnar texted him during his show and declared himself as an entry for the Royal Rumble. Now, this came out after SmackDown, right? Now, what did I say during SmackDown with the whole storyline with Finn Balor, it being too late for him to be in the Royal Rumble, is already feel that somebody was going to declare and it would make it not make sense? That would be Brock Lesnar. Now, my question is, and Granny, starting with you, first let me say this. These are the confirmed men for the Royal Rumble, right? Confirmed. So it's not 30 names. It's only the ones that's confirmed. Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, Gunther, Braun Breaker, Jacob Fatu, Jey Uso, Solo Sikoa, Rey Mysterio, Penta, Dragon Lee, Logan Paul, Austin Theory, Bronson Reed, Obafemi, Javon Evans, Brock Lesnar, and R-Truth. My question for you is a two-part question. One, who do you think is going to win it? And two, who do you want to win it?
well, wow.
And I'm going to ask everyone the same question, so you guys think about it.
I think Jey Uso would have a pretty good chance of winning it, and I'd really like to see him win it. I mean, that's just my opinion. So, I mean, there's a lot of good competitors in there, good lineup of people. So,
right. Robbie?
Out of them, I mean, who do I think? It's possible. There's probably I'd say 2, maybe 3 people I could see, and I hope it's not like her saying. I hope it's Jey Uso. I can see them putting them over. I can see Cody Rhodes.
I hope not.
And I'm hoping it's not those 2. If I have to, out of the bunch that I've heard, you know what? It probably wouldn't hurt to put one of the new kids over like Obafemi.
Mm-hmm.
That's true too. Yeah,
you might as well start pushing some of these kids.
That would be a good choice. I didn't even think about him, Robbie. I mean, I should put somebody new in there.
For myself, I think Brian Breaker is going to be the one that's going to take it just because of how much they've been pushing the storylines. But I think it also depends on the surprise entrances. If we see Chris Jericho indeed come back, I think he's going to take it. If Seth Rollins, though, he actually, it was a legit injury. If they're swerving us as far as him not being released yet, and we see him come back, high possibility of it being him. But overall, without those 2 surprises, I think it's going to be Brian Breaker. Mark?
I think I'd like Braun to win it, but I don't think he's quite ready for it, to be honest. Other than that, the Fama dude, I think he'd be a good choice. But again, I think he's raw and inexperienced. But yeah, you got to push these guys at some point. I think they're gonna go with the old standby of let's get somebody that's got a current name, that's got credibility, So they'll stick with somebody that Jacob Fatu would be a good choice too. But I think they're gonna go with somebody that's got a credible name.
I think it will go to you, Grizzled. I think that say Chris Jericho does come back and Seth Rollins does as well. I think it's gonna be a situation where we're going to see the Chris Jericho win the Royal Rumble just because it would be pretty big. And I think that going to Elimination Chamber, that we'd see Seth Rollins win that Elimination Chamber. Grizzle?
Okay, first I'm going to clarify a couple things. I got a year mixed up here. 1992 was when Ric Flair won the Royal Rumble to win the title. Right. 1993 was when they first started for a title shot because that's when Yokozuna won by eliminating Randy Savage and then went on to face Bret Hart at WrestleMania 9. So they've been doing the winner gets a title shot since 1993.
Okay.
As far as this year's Rumble, I'd like to see Jacob Fatu because I think that would set him up to go after Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania. And I would love to see Jacob and Drew McIntyre go at it. Who do I think is going to win? Braun Breaker, because they're going to set him up to go to WrestleMania for the rematch against Punk, where he's going to get the win, and they're going to give Breaker the WrestleMania moment, like they did last year with Jey Uso. Surprise entrances. If Jericho comes in, Jericho would not win. I don't see that happening. I don't think so. And if Jacob Fatu were to win, which I would love to see, then Braun Breaker would win the Elimination Chamber the following month to get his shot at either way. Braun Breaker is facing CM Punk at WrestleMania. If he doesn't win at the Rumble, he's going to win Elimination Chamber.
Fair enough. Now, to me, this is the question of the night as far as the Royal Rumble for myself, and we'll end on this unless Grizzly everything else. We know that it's happening in Canada. It's happening. I'm sorry, not Canada. Yeah, no, it's happening in
Saudi Arabia.
Now, the question is this. We know that we're going to see Sami Zayn versus Drew McIntyre. What is the chances that they're going to have Drew drop this title already and finally have Sami actually win this title just because of how much we've been hearing about the whole I'm going to win this title from Sami for so long now? Robbie, do you think they're going to swerve us like that and put the title on him?
I could see it happening. I hope it doesn't happen. But yeah, I could see it happening.
I mean, that would be the big feel-good moment of the pay-per-view.
Right
there for so many fans. Not for me.
No, not for me either.
But for so many fans. What about you, Granny?
I could see it happening. Like I said, I don't know if it will or not, but I could see it happening.
Yep. Mark?
I think Drew's on his longest title reign, isn't he, right now?
Yeah, sort of. Yeah.
I think if they take off Drew, it's a huge slap in the face. If they're gonna give it to Sammy, that'd probably be the ideal place to give it to him, other than Canada, to be honest. I see Sammy as more of developing the future world champions versus being a world champion.
Well, this is the thing, and Grizzle, we're coming to you. Does Sammy fit in that category that the fans will support the chase? They'll love the actual victory, but after that, they're going to turn on him. We've already seen him getting booed before recently. What's your take on it?
Sammy's not going to win the Rumble. I don't see it happening. I think he's going to be the guy that does chase and never gets it. If he does, it'll be more towards the end of when he's finally going to run his career. And I agree with him. He's the guy that you go through to get to the champion, but I don't think he's going to be the champion, which is unfortunate because I think Sammy is a very talented worker. I'm a fan. I have no issue with it. I don't know if Robbie's gone and looked up El Generico yet, but yeah, of course he hasn't.
No, but here, so I'm going to we'll bring up Saturday night or Saturday main event. They should, and I have to agree with Cook on this one. They should have put Trick Williams over and had Trick face Drew at the Royal Rumble.
I think that match would have shit the bed. I hate to say it. I don't think Trick is Drew McIntyre's level yet, and I don't think Trick is ready for a crowd that size yet.
Right.
Because that Riyadh crowd is going to be insane. I don't think.
I mean, seems like he seems to be holding his own where he's at right now, though, being brought up to the main roster.
Well, he is, but I mean, I don't think he's Drew McIntyre's level. And like I said, SmackDown and Raw and what he's done so far, those get 15, 16,000 people. There's going to be
60,000 plus.
Yeah. And I don't think Trick's ready for that yet. I don't think he could hold up on his own and put on a stellar match in front of that big of a crowd, because I think it would be a little overwhelming for him right now. My personal opinion. I don't think he's ready for a crowd that size yet. And if he gets out there and the crowd gets to him and he's overtaken by the crowd, Drew's going to have to carry that entire fucking match, or it's going to look like an absolute.
Hey, I agree.
Not only that, but it'll cripple.
Give him some more polish. Trick Williams in a main event, no problem whatsoever. But I don't think he's ready for that big of a match in front of that size of a crowd yet.
Yep. Go ahead, Mark.
Not only that, but it'll cripple his progress.
Yeah.
That too.
Yep.
Well, give him a big crowd at WrestleMania. I'm not done yet because I got a couple other questions.
Go ahead.
Because you asked people's favorite Rumble. I want to know, because this is kind of one of the things. What do you think was the biggest surprise in Royal Rumble history?
Oh my gosh, man!
Because there's been a lot of them. What's that one that made you go, holy shit? I know what it was for me.
Edge is definitely one of them for sure. Although they screwed up with Edge's return to the Royal Rumble with the camera shots in the match with the spear, but I think Edge was definitely one of them for sure. Shit.
The problem is we can't remember past 5 years ago.
No. I'm old.
Well, I'll say which one was one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
fine. Favorite one then. Biggest one.
It was one of my favorites. Is when Bayley came out with Dakota and Io as Damage Control.
Okay. Mark?
Edge easily. Edge or AJ Styles, because AJ was a big surprise.
Yeah.
AJ's definitely a good one. You got one, Granny?
I would have to say Edge. I mean, that was a big surprise when Edge came out.
Yeah. Now, on the woman's side, my favorite was Lita, because I've always been a Lita fan.
Unfortunately, the returns for the women, they've never done anything big. They've just went and let's go grab whatever former diva women. Let's get Michelle McCool out here. Let's bring out Lita.
Let's get Lita out here. Let's get Trish Stratus out here.
Let's bring out Corey Wilson. The first
I think
Royal
that
Rumble,
I think
it's
if you get
garbage because they didn't give the women a chance to shine
right,
because they stacked it with
Right.
so many former WWE women wrestlers that the current ones might have well just went, well, what the fuck?
I think
Right.
that they should have Moolah make a great return.
That would be interesting. I'd pay to hear. China comes back. Come on.
Okay, now with that being said, who's your choice for women's Royal Rumble?
Oh yeah, we haven't discussed the women.
Yeah, I was going to, yeah. So let's get down to it. So the confirmed women: Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley, Bayley, Io Sky, Roxanne Perez, Raquel Rodriguez, Charlotte Flair, Nia Jax, Chelsea Green, Julia Lash Legend, Asuka, Kerry Zane, Lyra, Tiffany Stratton, and Bianca Belair. Honestly, I can't believe I'm saying this because when it comes to the women's division, I'm not a big fan of most of the women. I'm not. Tiffany Stratton is the one that I wouldn't mind just because of how they had her drop the belt, man. Just such a squash match. I would like to see her have that return.
I agree. I think it'd be a nice accolade to her list of accomplishments.
Right. Granny?
Oh man, I tell you, yeah, Tiffany Stratton. That would be, that would be a good choice. I think.
I know I don't want it to be Charlotte, and I don't want it to be Rhea Ripley. I just don't.
And I don't want to be Bianca.
Or Bianca, right?
But I get
or Robbie.
I can see them giving it to Bianca for her being out as long as she has been. My choice would be Tiffany. And if you're going to give it to somebody else, I'd say Liv Morgan.
Yeah.
Yeah, Liv hasn't won one yet, has she? She's always been the bridesmaid on those.
I wouldn't mind seeing Alexa Bliss win it just because of this whole thing with her and Charlotte. And when I won the Rumble. Then Alexa's look at her and go, yeah, guess what I just did, bitch.
And I'm not
but I'm going to
that would be a good one.
Just because I would love to see this, and I might have to book something that may not be happening. I'm going to go with the NXT girl. I'd like to see him I'd like to see Sol Ruka get her shot and have her win.
Okay.
I think Sol Ruka would be the one, and it would be whoever she faced, whether it was Stephanie or whoever the women's champion is on the other.
Jade.
I would think, and speaking also with Jade Cargill, though, you got to think Jordan Grace is a definite possibility.
Oh yeah,
a definite possibility. I was gonna say though, on biggest surprise for me, Edge definitely at the top, but for me, it's going to be Madison Square Garden when John Cena returns.
Oh yeah,
because nobody was expecting him back yet because he was supposed to be out for 9 months, and that man rehabilitated in 3.5.
4.
Yeah. Now I tell you, a big surprise would be if Naomi had the baby, and because it's a Fatu, that little baby comes in and runs in a Royal Rumble, wins it all, and has the youngest Fatu ever for the bloodline.
I'm having fun with this. I'm gonna throw out another one here at you guys. We'll make this the last one.
Okay.
Because you got to look at it, and you got to look at and this is a long time, Robbie. This might hurt your head. Favorite elimination. Your all-time favorite elimination ever.
Anyone that eliminated anybody from Demolition.
He going old school. He's going back to the original.
Wow.
Hey, go big or go broke.
Yeah, you know what? Because I did not want this person to win it, and I think it was only 1 year he was in it. The Great Khali been eliminated.
Is that the one where he got kissed or whatever and then get pulled over the rope? Okay, yeah. I remember that one.
By the Glamazon, right?
Yes, Beth Phoenix.
Yep.
Yeah. You got one, Robbie? Or am I testing your memory too hard?
Hey, didn't you see me spear Robbie? My head still hurts. My head still hurts from where I hit the mat. Truthfully, I kid you not, my head still hurts, and it's been almost 2 weeks now.
You're old. It takes you longer to recover.
I know, right? I'm gonna say, and you probably. I'm trying to think, but it was probably comical when Nia threw out R-Truth.
No.
R-Truth was great. We're the men.
I love R-Truth. He was so
We're the
funny.
men.
I have to say that was probably kind of a clever idea out of that. So
Yeah. What about you, Randy? Favorite
Oh,
elimination?
I don't know. I mean, gosh. I don't know. I just can't think of anything off the top of my head right now, honestly. But you just,
Mine
But
goes,
I did like when Nia threw R-Truth, because R-Truth is hilarious. I love R-Truth. He's so funny.
Yeah. Grizzle?
mine goes old school, and it's always still my favorite. Bushwhacker Luke
Mm.
walk into the ring, doing his old dance, gets in the ring, pitched right back out, lands on his feet, and just continues walking right back out the ring again.
Yeah.
Didn't touch anybody, didn't do nothing. In one side, right out the other.
Yep. That was awesome. That was
I got to
awesome.
give honorable mention to Santina.
Santina.
Yeah. Yep.
Santina's, well, you're talking Santino's sister, Santina?
Yeah.
Because remember, Santino had a good one too. He got there, got in the ring, and then beep, got clotheslined right back out. He didn't even.
Yeah, I think he had the
stood up and
best
went right over the top.
elimination.
Yep. Well, guys, I think now that takes care of our episode recap of Wednesday Night Dynamite, and as well as talking a little bit about the Royal Rumble, current and past. We will be back. We'll figure it out, hopefully on Sunday, to actually do a recap of the Royal Rumble. We'll be back on Tuesday to talk about Monday Night Raw and the fallout from the Royal Rumble. Until then, guys, everyone, Granny, Robbie, Grizzled, my old friend Mark, thank you guys for joining me on the podcast tonight.
Having me on, guys. It was a blast.
thank you,
Please
Randy.
subscribe to the
It was a
podcast.
pleasure. Hey,
I would love to be back on with you all again sometime.
We'll make that happen.
are we doing SmackDown tomorrow night?
Oh, yeah, don't stop forgetting about SmackDown tomorrow night.
Thanks, Robbie.
I know, right? Hey, out of all of you, I'm the one that's going to pay dearly for that because I'll be up since 2:30 in the morning. So
That's true.
Yes, we'll be back. We're so dedicated that we'll be doing about a half an hour after SmackDown goes off the air after watching a 3-hour SmackDown. We'll be
We're
doing
going
the
to talk about
recap
it in
of
less
that.
than 2 hours.
Yes. Until then, you guys have a great night.
have a
Good
good
night,
weekend, Granny.
Thank you. Good night.